Hi, it's Janet Clark, and we're here for our weekly blog series, Janet Talks Business TV. And I have a question for you today. Have you ever been fired? Well, I have. And let me tell you, it felt like someone killed me. So here's the story. I had a very important job, and I was working for this up-and-coming wireless phone company. They're no longer in business, so it doesn't matter who they were, but it was a big job. So I was responsible for opening up 3 brand new retail locations in an area that had no phone stores. And I also had to hire and train all the managers and the staff. So my charge was to select the malls, negotiate the leases, design the stores, and manage the build-out process, along with hiring and training the managers and the staff. I loved it. I loved every minute of it, except for one nagging pain in my neck, and that was my boss. So I was a 40-year-old with 15 years of management experience, and I was used to having a lot of autonomy. He was a 29-year-old in his first management position, barely out of graduate school. And he was the nephew of some big mucky-muck in the company. So to say he was a micromanager would be an understatement. So I did my best to humor him, but mostly I just did my work, and I figured that I would impress him with my excellence. I figured he would see how awesome I was doing at my job, and he would just leave me alone, because I was really making him look good. I was building out these stores, I had hired amazing teams of people, and I had put together an awesome business plan. So I was just so invested in what I was doing emotionally, physically, and mentally that I was really in my own world. And I was just focused on what I was doing morning, noon, and night. And then the axe fell on my head. I woke up one sunny, crisp, cold Tuesday morning, a week before Thanksgiving. It was crunch time because the flagship store that we were opening was on Newbury Street in Boston, very exclusive area. And it was set to open the day after Thanksgiving, which is the great big huge shopping day, also known as Black Friday. And we were planning this huge grand opening gala event with newspaper people there and radio stations, and it was a really big thing. So I jumped into my company car that morning and I drove the 40 minutes to the office, and I was speeding along. I was making phone calls and checking in with everybody to make sure that everything was on track. I was talking to contractors. I was talking to furniture delivery people. I was talking to my management team to make sure that they were in training everybody. And all these important things were getting done, because this grand opening was my baby, and I was going to make sure that nothing went wrong. So I arrived at the office, and as soon as I walked in, I got this eerie feeling, and I said good morning to the receptionist like I usually did, and she just looked at me and said, "Janet, Daniel wants to meet you in the conference room." Now, of course, Daniel was my boss. Now, have you ever walked into a room expecting one thing and finding a totally different experience? Kind of like a surprise party, when you think you're just going to visit someone and you walk in the door and this whole group of people jumps up and yells, "Surprise!" Well, that's what it was like, except that there was a whole group of people sitting around a conference table, and it was dead silence. And everybody had a somber look on their face. And then they killed my dream. I'm not sure who said what, I don't know what words were spoken. All I know is I heard something about I was no longer employed at this company, blah, 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 blah. And in my head, there was this resounding no. I didn't want to hear it. And I couldn't believe it was real. And it wasn't happening. It was impossible to get my head wrapped around. So then it was like blackness. I can't begin to describe to you the emptiness that I felt. And that's not really even the point of this story. So here's what is important. Sometimes the universe throws us a curveball. And when it does, we tend to go into shock. And we all experience this at different times throughout a lifetime. So how does one go on when their dream is shattered? In the big scheme of things, losing a job is nothing compared with losing a loved one, I guess. But in some ways, for me, it was a death. It was like the death of the me that I had created in my own reality. And letting go of that identity was not easy. And it's only now in hindsight that I can truly see that for something new to grow, something had to die. Yes, the dream job had to die in order for me to embark on a new path that has led me to where I am today. Did I know that then? No, and it hurt like hell. And it was my first big life crisis. Now I see that I played a part in creating that situation. Did they do that to me? Or was there something in me that did it? Yes, something in me was not right. And deep inside, I knew it. I guess you could say my soul knew it. Together with the universe, we do create our own reality. And when things are not as they should be, the universe has a way of putting challenges in our life. And what this really meant for me was that I needed to shift gears because my heart and my soul were not in alignment with my head that was telling me that everything was all right when it really wasn't. And the truth is that I went on a different path into a better job. And it was great because I got into a place where I was in alignment with my heart, my soul, my body, and my mind. So did this happen easily or smoothly? Not at all. It took me some time to grieve, to feel angry, and to blame other people. But what I know now is that it was a process, and one that I've had to go through more than once in my life since that time. But as I have become more in tune with my inner essential self or my soul, I am able to get through these transitions with more faith and hope, because I can honestly say that there has always been something better on the other side of a broken dream. So today, if you need a word of encouragement or somebody to chat with or just somebody to listen, I want you to know that I'm here at janet@thefreedomshift.com. Feel free to email me anytime or call me on my cell phone, 508-641-1142. And in the meantime, I am sending you a lot of love and light, and know that the universe is unfolding as it should. And I will see you next week.